Finally made this video, y'all. Thailand is home to some of the most beautiful temples I've ever visited. Today's temple visit, however, was interesting. I visited Wang Saen Suk Hell Garden, a Buddhist depiction of the afterlife where sinners are punished. Coincidentally, of all times, I found myself completely alone. It was eerily quiet, almost too quiet, except for a few birds and the buzzing insects. But there was this beautiful row of golden monks, super peaceful. Then out of nowhere, this black cat came weaving around my legs, which was just way too fitting for a place like this. Now, these were just some of the things in the walkway at the entrance. There were these two huge figures towering above at the entrance. I left this part in the video just so you could hear how quiet it was. And then in the farthest part of the garden, these statues knelt in, I don't know, like prayer or pleading. I don't know if they're asking for forgiveness. I wasn't sure, but their expressions said a lot. Everywhere I went, though, except here, there's just scenes of suffering. But literally, like, look at this. I'm like, what did y'all do? It was crazy. They each represented like a specific sin. You could tell, like it was specific to whether like they stole something, if they lied, you could tell they were like getting their tongues removed or burned. All of them were like meeting a specific fate of some sort, torn apart, boiling in volcanic looking liquids. Each punishment seemed to be like it was intentional to serve as an example. I think this would be honestly a great place to bring your kids if you want to scare them to proper behavior. I mean, I read that a lot of Thai people actually do that, but just look at this. Like hands behind her back, tongue being pulled out with the tool. Like, you gonna lie to me? You gonna lie to me? Lots of stabbing going on. Lots of stabbing. Now, one thing that caught my eye, it just seemed like all of these figures that were doing the punishing were black, and the ones receiving the punishing were white. So it made me wonder, like, could this be a reflection of Thailand history? So here, the punishment for committing sexual misconduct or like being with others' wives or husbands, which is the given description. It shows people climbing up this spiky tree while naked, being chased by dogs, pecked at by birds, stabbed by some guys. Drinking or taking drugs seem to be like where they will kind of force feed you. Some statues of some cracked out looking people with long tongues, and a guy with like his eyes falling out of what looked like a smoke pipe. All surrounded by prisoners with chains around their necks. I don't know if there's like final judgment. It's really scary. I mean, look at this. Seems like the ones with the tongues out were like the cracked out looking ones. Like they were probably the ones drinking or taking drugs. For stealing or like violating what they call the second precept, you'll be sewn in half, as you see him there in that table. This one was wild because their thought process was if you take birth control, you get stabbed in your private part. If you have an abortion, like this was their punishment. So they had different animals for different punishments. So I'm not going in any specific order, but like for example, taking drugs was the spirit of the crustacean. Destroy protected or reserved wildlife was spirit of the elephant. Destroy plants and herbs that are useful to humans was the spirit of the goat. Abandoning your duties because of gambling was the spirit of the horse. Playing jokes on others was the spirit of the snake. Being dishonest to your duties was the spirit of the toad. Arson, spirit of the snake. Encouraging others to fight, spirit of the duck. Jealousy, spirit of the rabbit. Undermining the authority of duty of others, spirit of the tortoise. Stealing aquatic animals, spirit of the fish. Selling drugs, spirit of the cow. Destroying wildlife, spirit of the deer. Stealing uncooked rice, okay, spirit of the bird. Destroying the property or belonging of others was the spirit of the rat. Corruption, spirit of the pig. Exploiting others, spirit of the dog. Having sex with unpermitted persons was spirit of the chicken. So before these like big tall ghosts is what appeared to be like a boiling pot, and this is filled with people who are being cooked while they're being stabbed by guards. This just really set the scene for everything in that whole garden. I guess if you want to call it a garden. And then you have surrounding that the hungry, surrounding those hungry ghosts, I guess, are all of those human figures with the heads of different animals, which represented all of those different sins. Everywhere, just suffering, more lessons, more reminders of morality, or at least the way it was perceived by those who built this place. This was one of the most surreal places I've ever visited. It was eerie, but like it had meaning. It was disturbing, even, yet I felt like it was enlightening. It wasn't just about horror, it was a message, a warning, and maybe even a reflection of history. What do you guys think? Would you visit this place, and what do you make of its messages? Let me know what you think in the comments. And then continue looking at the rest of this video. There's like a lot more that I added to share and show everything in more detail. And let me know what you think. This is at the front, and just beyond the garden were actually real monks that just went about their daily lives, shaving their heads, carrying on as if this intense imagery was just another part of the temple. It was definitely a contrast I wasn't expecting.
พาแม่ไปวัดมาจากที่นั่นไม่มีอะไรเลยใช่ครับนอกจากพุทธอย่างเดียวไม่มีพระ